Alright, what is up? Just want to do an update on the Harmoni and do a quick comparison to Jukebox, nothing serious. Remember, precision was set to 32, which is supposed to be full precision, and the results have been pretty bad with the precision at 32. The audio out here, we can go to fine tune 16 run to, and we have our runs for today, the 353rd day of the year. So here's the first. That's just terrible, and we end exactly where we started. No real progress. Maybe the full precision is just the training takes too long or something. I'm not sure why. You would think full precision would be better than half precision, but not the case. The train on condition, this file, I did upload it to the local harmonai GitHub, I believe. Yeah, so we'll stick with the settings as they are here, and I dropped the sample size. So by dropping the sample size by 16 thousands, 300s, 80 tens, and 4 ones, I was able to bump the batch size up to 2, keep the accumulated batches at 4, and I have number of workers as 8. Number of workers shouldn't affect VRAM, but for VRAM, dropping the sample size a little bit seems to make big differences in virtual memory consumption. Alright, so we also have the Jukebox AI, or OpenAI's Jukebox, and we got some samples here that sound very good. Yeah, the samples sound fantastic. Not using diffusion here, it's a different way of doing it. So I'm not sure, once I do some training on it, I'm not sure how the training will sound and progress. But some things must be noted. This uses a ton of memory. So the model specification is important. I had to use, this says sample 5B, but I'm actually using the 1B underscore lyrics. The 5B and the sample 5B were each above 10 gigabytes just to get it on there. So I couldn't run Harmoni and Jukebox at the same time. I had to pick, and just as a test, it didn't make any sense to do that. The sample rate is 44,100s, and the number of samples I put at 6, I kept at 16, and that didn't seem to change anything. For this one, it's really the model. If you're running out of memory, then you probably want to just stick with the 1B, and the 5B and the 5B lyrics are both pretty expensive, but they sound pretty good. So that's just the overview. Now let's try and get a sample from audio with the Jukebox and see how that sounds. Alright, we got some samples here. Things are looking pretty good with the Jukebox. I'm trying to go through this paper here and get some basic understanding, but from what I can tell, as opposed to having some model try to construct these sounds, it encodes into a vector form that can be mapped to a codebook, and then the vector form in the codebook that's closest to the original input is then mapped as output. I think this is going to produce better sounding results in theory, but the diffusion model, I think, will have a wider variety of sounds. So as we will see here, the sounds that this produces are very similar and very true to the training set of various songs and the songs that I put in. Whereas the diffusion model seems to output some kind of unheard combination of sounds. Whereas the randomness in the jukebox non-diffusion model seems to just be quality or a note in a wrong place, whereas the diffusion seems a little more otherworldly. Like when I play the diffusion songs, it sounds like I'm conjuring noise like from the universe or something. Whereas the jukebox is not. It just sounds like a collection of noises intelligently put together. So the first sample I got back using the 1B lyrics sounds like this. And we can compare that with the first sample that we got from the diffusion model. It's a little shorter, but I don't know how well I can explain my opinion of this, but it sounds like the diffusion one is more coherent. Like there is an actual song that's just hidden in the noise. Whereas the jukebox sounds like it just kind of put together some sounds that it knows. Everything's clear, I can hear all the sounds. It's just the quality is kind of bad and the combination of sounds are terrible. Whereas here, can't really hear all the sounds. There's some other stuff going on that it's hard to make out. There's a lot more noise that can be denoised here. But we go to the here, I think this was one of the ones that I liked. Alright, that one's okay. Maybe it was this one. One of them. That's just crispy. That came out fantastic. But you can tell that it's doing what I said. So there's 3 layers of encoding and decoding. Perhaps maybe instruments go one way, lyrics go another way. It's not like that, but that kind of thing. And you can tell that it was able, that it's just kind of mapping things together. It's just not the same as what I'm thinking, since this was trained and it has a book of sounds, and we're taking sounds, we're representing them as vectors and comparing them to a book of sounds, this kind of preserves harmony and things like that better. But generating new sounds that you've never heard, I think may be an issue, but I'm not sure.